What's good, everybody? So, as we all know, Khamzat Chimaev lost his belt against Sean Strickland at middleweight. And right after, he told Dana White he don't want to fight in that division no more. Even before the fight itself, we saw a bunch of weigh-in complications. We saw Arman, of course, Khamzat's training partner, was talking about he had to cut 40 fucking pounds for this fight, which is fucking insane if that's actually what happened. And then at the weigh-ins itself, it looked like the UFC low-key tweaked the scale to make sure that Khamzat would make weight. Like some weird shit was going down at the weigh-ins. In the fight itself, we saw all of the indications that Khamzat was super weight drained. His cardio lasted less than a round. In the second round, he got stuffed twice. Whoa, pause. He got his takedown stuffed twice, and then he flopped to the deck like a fish, bro. He literally flopped to his back after getting 2 takedowns stuffed. He looked not like himself at all, and that's not cope, all right? That's not cope because I'm very happy that Sean Strickland won. I'm happy that Khamzat looked the way he did. But he just didn't look like himself. He had to go on the feet. He had to dog out the next 3 rounds against Sean Strickland. Like, it was not a good Khamzat performance. After the DDP fight, I remember we all were talking about this fight with Sean Strickland is going to be like the comeback fight. This is going to be Khamzat's return. He's going to be the boogeyman again. And it wasn't. All right? So that's why today we're going to go over the matchups for Khamzat at 205. How does he do up there? And I think, we're going to be talking about why I think this is actually his division. And this is the division where Khamzat actually goes on a run, gets the belt. But let's get into it, all right? Let's get right into it with the first matchup. Khamzat Chimaev versus Azamat Murzakanov. Now, this is some Russian on Russian violence. We got this fucking guy, takedown spammer, fucking wrestle fucker against Azamat Murzakanov, who's great on the feet, elite boxing. Just had he just lost his first, I think it was the first time in his career. Yeah, the first time in his career and the first time in the UFC against Paulo Costa, lost by TKO. Paulo was tearing his ass up, no diddy, with the kicks. Man, Khamzat Chimaev was supposed to fight Paulo Costa at one point. We're going to talk about that fight later. But this fight would actually be pretty interesting because Chimaev does not kick. He does not leg kick. He does not body kick. He doesn't head kick. On the feet, this would be a boxing fight. And I would favor Azamat. Azamat has the power to really hurt Chimaev. He has the boxing to really outbox Chimaev. Just on the feet, on the stand-up, this fight would be an Azamat fight. I have no doubt in my mind, all right? However, I don't believe this fight would be a Azamat stand-up fest, all right? This would be a takedown clinic. Like, from the first moment, Khamzat Chimaev, 205 body, good cardio, doesn't have to cut 40 fucking pounds to make the weight class. I think he gets Azamat down right away. And Azamat, I'm not going to lie, my brother, I don't know if it's your build. I don't know what it is. You don't strike me as someone who can get up, all right? You strike me as someone whose low center of gravity kind of keeps him down. I don't think Chimaev would get a sub on Azamat. I feel like Azamat has to be hard to choke. Like, look at his physique, bro. And Azamat, of course, would spend his whole training camp preparing for that fight. 3-round fight, which is what this would probably be because I don't see any other situation in which these guys would fight 5 rounds. I'd give this fight to Chimaev, no question. Chimaev by decision, I believe. Like a little bit of a lay and pray kind of decision, all right? But he would have the cardio. He would have the stamina that he's been missing at 185. And I'd love to see this fight. However, I don't think the UFC is going to make it. They might make this fight, though. Chimaev versus Costa. Now, Costa just made his debut into the light heavyweight division. He beat Azamat Murzakanov, like I said, by TKO. Tragic performance, all right? But I feel like I'm losing my mind about Paulo Costa. Because everybody on the internet is talking about this guy's fucking good. He's coming for the belt. He's going to beat Ankalaev. He could beat Jiri. He could beat fucking Ulberg. Like, are we seeing the same fighter? Yes, he has good kicks. Azamat Murzakanov had no answer for fucking Costa's kicks. But everyone else he's fought seemed to have an answer. Yoel Romero was low-key chilling. Yes, he lost by decision, but he was fine. Robert Whittaker got caught by 1 kick their whole fight. I think it was 5 rounds or 3 rounds. And he was fine, all right? He got rocked, but then he was all right. Strickland, split decision. Fakest split decision I've ever seen in my life. The kicks were not doing shit to Strickland. This guy was on both of his feet, standing upright like he always does, hitting that fucking iCarly stance. I feel like Paulo Costa is not as good as everyone is saying. And this fight with Khamzat Chimaev would be fucking brutal. This would be genuinely a first-round sub. It would have been a first-round sub down at fucking middleweight, and it's going to be a first-round sub at 205. Honestly, I could see the UFC making this fight as like a number 1 contenders fight. The UFC light heavyweight division is so dry right now. Jiri was supposed to win the fucking belt against Ulberg, and he fumbled that shit. But yeah, man, Chimaev versus Costa, this would be Chimaev getting in on the takedown. Again, people are going to go into this fight. The odds are probably going to look a little bit more even than they should because of Khamzat's cardio questions. That shit had to be the weight cut. We saw him have good cardio against DDP, which is someone, you know, he had a lot of time to prepare for. He wasn't that fucking heavy. The Strickland fight came in on really short notice, and he had to cut hella weight. He's not going to have to do that in this division against Paulo Costa unless it's some weird, like, short notice circumstance, which I hope is not, right? Chimaev versus Costa. Give me fucking Costa by... Not Costa. Give me Chimaev by fucking submission, all right? Round 1. People are losing their fucking minds over Paulo Costa. This guy is not that good, all right? Next matchup. Chimaev versus Jamal Hill. I just see Jamal Hill on my screen and I start to smile, bro. I can't help it. Look at this, man. Jamal the blobbiest Hill. Boy, oh boy. Now, I don't want this fight to happen. I mean, I guess it can happen now since Whitaker is fighting Krylov. I wanted to save Jamal Hill for Robert Whitaker because that's a really winnable fight. But Robert Whitaker versus Krylov is also a winnable fight, so fuck it, man. Give Chimaev Hill, just feed him Hill and see what fucking happens. Again, first round sub. Maybe it takes a little longer than the Paulo Costa matchup because of Jamal's size. But, bro, the way Jamal stands, the way his footwork goes, this guy squares his feet up so much. He's lucky that he fought Glover as old as Glover was. Because Glover in his prime, when he fought Jiri, not even his prime, when he fought Jiri for the belt, that guy would have slimed Jamal Hill. And then a year later, it was just too late. Glover was too injured, he was too old, and Jamal Hill did him in on the feet. It was really sad. Chimaev would break Jamal Hill. He would get on the legs. Anytime Jamal Hill like throws his 1-2 and then squares his stance up for no reason, because we know he's a southpaw, right? That southpaw against an orthodox matchup, the double leg is there, bro. That shit is there for the taking. Maybe a single into a double. The back takes would be easy as fuck with Jamal Hill. I just get the impression that this guy does not really know how to deal with that shit. All right? He's been training for the Jiri matchup, for the Khalil matchup, for the Pereira matchup, all striking matchup. He's had hella striking camps. I don't know. This brother is not ready for the Chimaev grappling, all right? I think he gets subbed in one round. Gets done the same as Paulo Costa. Listen, I'm not a big Chimaev glazer, but the 205 division is fucking weak as shit. All right? That's just what it is. This is a weak-ass division, and this is going to be the result for a lot of these matchups, all right? Next matchup. Khamzat Chimaev versus Khalil Rountree. I feel like I'm going to be repeating myself. This is a Muay Thai guy, a guy that stands really with his feet really close together, like both of his legs very light. You know, he doesn't have too much weight on either of his legs because he is ready for the kicks at any point. You know, Khalil has great boxing. He's really fast. He has great kicks. This and that, whatever you want. He's not stopping the Chimaev shot. He's a little lower, of course. Maybe he can get to the sprawl a little easier. But Chimaev in this weight class, he's not getting sprawled out by fucking Khalil Rountree. Like Khalil Rountree, Azamat Murzakanov, Paulo Costa, Jamal Hill. Who are these guys, bro? These guys are not stopping no wrestling. Name one wrestler that these guys have fought. Name one. Who did he fight? Jamal Hill, did he fight fucking Paul Craig? The jiu-jitsu guy that lays on his back and looks for triangles? Like, be for real. There's no wrestlers in the division. Ankalaev, who was supposed to be like the wrestling guy, this guy doesn't even fucking wrestle himself. He clinched Pereira up against the fence for 5 rounds. And the rematch, he got fucking knocked out. Ankalaev is a striker. We're going to talk about that matchup when it comes. But Chimaev versus Rountree, this would be, again, I feel like another round 1 sub. And people are going to be underestimating Chimaev coming to this division because they're going to think the weight issues or the cardio issues, that maybe they don't think it's a weight issue. 100% the cardio of Chimaev is a weight thing. So coming to this division, he's not going to have that thing to deal with. He's going to be way heavier. He's going to be way happier. I'm sure not cutting 40 pounds. 185 to 205 is a crazy difference, bro. If you only have to cut 20 pounds instead of 40, that's enormous. 40 pounds is death, bro. If you guys the most I've ever cut in my life was like 8 pounds. And that shit was rough, bro. I cut 8 pounds of water weight, and that shit was fucking tough. Now imagine cutting 40, for fuck's sake, alright? Next matchup, Chimaev versus Jan Blachowicz. I wish we could have had Chimaev moving to 205 earlier, Because Chimaev versus like a younger Jan would have been, bro, that shit would have been good because Jan's not getting finished. Yes, he got submitted by Glover. Yes, he's gotten wrestle fucked before. He's not doing that shit, all right? Chimaev against Jan, I feel like Jan would be able to like defend the submissions, especially the front headlock stuff really well. I feel like he does a really good job at not giving opportunities in the getup. Like just chilling if he needs to chill and then getting up and controlled explosion. He's very powerful. He's got that Polish power. You guys know I love my Polish fighters. But Chimaev versus Jan at this point, I think it would be like a round 3 sub, man. Or like a round 3 TKO for Chimaev. This is a sad matchup to talk about. Because I love Jan Blachowicz. I don't want anything to happen to my boy. But Chimaev versus Jan, it would be like a round 3 TKO. I can see like Chimaev getting Jan down, maybe pinning him against the fence, round 1, round 2. Maybe at the end of round 2, it looks like Jan is getting something going. Just when it seems like, oh, maybe he's going to turn back, maybe he can land a lucky shot. Chimaev gets on the legs, gets another takedown. Like, I feel like it would be one of those matchups. Late, third round, up against the fence. Jan's face is all bruised up from like the little baby punches Chimaev's been landing on him. He tries to do one last explosive getup, gets tripped out, gets ground and pounded. Like, the ref kind of stops in as a mercy stoppage, similar to like the Ferguson Gaethje. It's just a sad like idea to have. I don't want this fight to happen. I'm sure it's not gonna happen. I mean, the UFC must really hate Jan if they give him fucking Chimaev, right? But yeah, man, give me Chimaev by round 3 finish, sub or TKO. Let's hope we don't see this shit, all right? Next matchup, Chimaev versus Jiri. This was supposed to be for the belt, bro. This fight, if we were in the good timeline, you know, of course I'm glad Strickland won against Chimaev. Like, just the underdog story is so elite. Strickland did it 2 times, once against Izzy, once against Khamzat. It's just fucking cinema, right? I'm happy he won. But imagine Chimaev beats Strickland, moves up to 205 after Jiri beat Ulberg, which he was supposed to do, and we get Chimaev versus Ulberg for the 205 strap. That would be fucking peak, bro. Jiri is one of these guys, I feel he'd pull it out the fire. 5-round fight, give me fucking Jiri Prochazka to finish Khamzat Chimaev. The cardio, I said, will not be an issue because of the weight. Cardio would be an issue in this fucking fight because Jiri is not stopping, bro. Unless he gets finished early, and that's possible, okay? I can see maybe like Chimaev throwing a leg kick or something, tripping Jiri off balance, Jiri coming up, trying to wrestle up, getting caught in a darce, getting put to sleep. Because we know Yuri's not fucking tapping. Unless something like that happens, like banana peel type shit, Jiri Prochazka's taking this into the later rounds and finishing Chimaev. He's going to come back. He's going to be down like 4 fucking rounds. 5th round, it's over. 5th round, we get up. Khamzat shoots a takedown. Fucking Jiri Prochazka knee. It hits Khamzat's shoulder. It doesn't even rock him or anything. But then he follows up ground and pound. Bam, bam. 1-2 ground and pound shots. Rock Chimaev, bro. I'm literally, like, this feels like I'm writing, like I'm a 12-year-old girl writing Harry Styles fan fiction in 2016. I would love to see this fucking fight. Because even if Chimaev would get, like, some sort of fluky submission on Jiri, I'd still be able to cope about it, right? Like, that would be cope. Like, oh, you know, he got caught. Everyone gets caught sometimes. But Jiri finishing Chimaev, imagine Jiri was the guy to take Chimaev's undefeated record from him. And imagine he never lost to Ulberg, bro. He would be the guy in the UFC that's like only lost to Pereira and that's it. It would be like fucking Max Holloway at featherweight until he lost to Ilya. Max Holloway at featherweight was a fucking demon, bro. He was only losing to Volk. Lost to Volk 3 times. Jiri would have lost to Pereira twice. Beat everybody else, including Chimaev in this alternate reality of mine. I would love to see this fucking fight. This would be absolute cinema, all right? And if you think it wouldn't, you gotta kill yourself. I'm not gonna lie, all right? Next matchup, Chimaev versus Ankalaev. Now, the UFC rankings have put Ankalaev at number 1. I'm pissed. I wish Jiri was still at number 1. And Ankalaev hasn't done shit except get knocked out by Pereira. And somehow he's still number 1 ranked, right? Chimaev versus Ankalaev would be interesting because Ankalaev definitely offers the best technical defensive wrestling. Because I feel like Jiri would have the actual practical, like, in-fight best defensive wrestling. But Ankalaev, technically, you know, he's Dagestani. He trains with these guys. He's trained with Strickland. They have good takedown defense. Like, technically, he'd have the best, like, sprawl. He'd have the best, like, whizzer. You know, like, he'd dig the better underhook than Jiri. But I feel like this would be a decision win for Chimaev regardless. I think it would be a little bit like Ankalaev getting a taste of his own medicine. Maybe not getting taken down as much. Maybe like second, third round gets taken down one time apiece. Maybe fifth round, final seconds, he's on the floor as well. But I feel like this fight would be Khamzat Chimaev controlling Ankalaev up against the fence. Ankalaev, when he's in these positions, I feel like he'd be very defensive. Very wary of not getting knocked out. We saw it in the second Pereira fight. He looks scared. Like, this is not me glazing Pereira. You know, I take any chance I can to glaze that man. But I feel like Ankalaev looks scared when someone is hunting for a finish. You know, he's used to being the hunter. He's used to being the aggressor in his fights. He was the aggressor in the Johnny Walker fights. He was the aggressor in the Jan Blachowicz fight, even though he low-key lost the first one. Some people say he won, but fuck, I don't fucking like Ankalaev, right? I don't know, this would be an interesting matchup. I wouldn't be mad at seeing Chimaev versus Ankalaev. This is probably the only matchup that I would like for Ankalaev. Maybe a Khalil Rountree matchup as well. Because I'd like to see how Khalil's like lower base. I feel like Khalil in the clinch would do really well against Ankalaev. So I feel like that would be an interesting matchup. Because Pereira in the clinch had no answers for him. But Khalil's literally a Muay Thai guy. So I'd love to see that fight. It's for another video. Chimaev versus Ankalaev would be very, very interesting. I think Chimaev gets it done by way of control time. Boring answer. You know, of course I'd love to say, I don't know, Chimaev by knockout or Ankalaev by knockout. But I just don't see it. Would these guys ever fight each other? Probably fucking not, right? They're both Dagestani. They're both Russian. They have the brother-brother thing going where they don't want to fight guys. You know, Khabib would never fight his brother Islam. Fucking, who else? Islam wouldn't, like, if John Pork came up in the rankings, Islam wouldn't fight John Pork. Bilal versus Islam, right? There's these matchups that they just don't want to do. But I feel like this would be a very interesting fight if the UFC made it, if they just said, fuck it. Because Ankalaev does train with Strickland, right? So this could be like Chimaev getting his revenge on the Eric Nixick camp. It'd be very interesting. And we'd have Strickland in the corner too, man. That would be peak. Strickland in the corner, watching Khamzat Chimaev and Ankalaev fight each other, that would be fucking cinema, alright? I just thought about that right now. Peak, make this fight, alright? Next matchup, and for the final matchup, Chimaev versus Ulberg. Who knows if we're ever going to see this matchup? Who knows if Ulberg will actually be the champ in the next couple months? Maybe he vacates. As we know, the light heavyweight division has a history of vacating their division. You know, Jiri, when he got the shoulder injury, he vacated the belt. Jamal Hill blew out his Achilles playing fucking basketball with DC. He also vacated his shit. So, you know, we've had a history of guys vacating the belt. Pereira vacated the belt when he went up to heavyweight. So, if we see this fight, it might not even be for the belt. But I'd like to see it, and I feel like it would be a Chimaev decision. Or maybe even a submission. The thing with Ulberg is, he's really good on the feet. He's quick. He has knockout power. Like, we've seen that against Jiri, unfortunately, right? We've seen that against Reyes. Rough watches, both of them. But I feel like he doesn't have enough time in the game to make the smart decisions on the ground against Chimaev. That's what it comes down to. Yes, the guy, I think is he City Kickboxing? The guys over there, like New Zealand fellas, they have good takedown defense, but not against Chimaev, man. Like, the thing with Chimaev is you're going to get taken down by him. Everyone says it. Everyone is, like, it's true. He's taken down everyone he's fought except GM3, who got knocked out in 4 seconds. But he's going to get taken down by Chimaev, Ulberg is, and I think he's not going to make the right decisions on the get-up. He's going to be too anxious to get up. He's going to give his back. He might give his neck for the front headlock, for the Dars, for an Anaconda. I feel like he wouldn't be smart about making these choices, and that comes down to not enough time on the mats. That's my impression. Of course, I don't train with Ulberg. I don't know anyone that trains with Ulberg. I just know that he's gone to the sport recently, and he's gotten away with his power. He's gotten away with his speed. He hasn't really fought guys that are big wrestlers. Jan Blachowicz low-key beat him, alright? And he didn't even wrestle that much in that fight, and it's an older Jan Blachowicz. Ulberg versus Jiri rematch, give me Jiri to win that fight easily. Chimaev versus Ulberg, give me Chimaev to win that fight by submission, alright? I feel like these guys, the elite of the elite, I feel like Ulberg is just a step below them. The elite of the elite at light heavyweight was Alex Pereira before he left, Jiri Prochazka, and I think it's going to be Khamzat Chimaev now. Alright? You could even throw, I feel like Ankalaev and Ulberg would be in that same tier. I'd love to see an Ankalaev-Ulberg fight. I think that would actually be very interesting. And seeing an Ulberg versus Ankalaev, and then imagine Ulberg wins, we see Khamzat versus Ulberg, That would be a good lead up. So in the meantime, I think the UFC should make Chimaev versus Costa, probably make Ulberg versus Ankalaev, assuming Ulberg can come back in time, and then the winner of those fights fight each other, right? That would be absolute cinema. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think about these matchups? How do you guys think Khamzat does at 205? Do you think his performance against Strickland was actually due to the weight stuff? Or am I fucking coping? Am I fucking stupid, alright? Let me know. Thank you again for watching. I'm gonna go work on a presentation, alright? Ciao.